A recent study created a lot of headlines when it named Denver America's best city for pizza. While New York and Chicago will tell you that study was wrong, and even Denver locals were surprised by it, we do have good pizza in and around the city, and I'm gonna help you find it. Let's start with Blue Pan Pizza. It's known in Denver for its Detroit-style pizza and amazing crust. It's just an all-around really good pizza spot. There are 2 locations in Denver and 1 in Golden. It's a great place to dine in and take out because the pizza travels well. In recent years, this place is always mentioned in pizza lists by the Denver Post and Westward, and it lives up to the hype. They also have a kids menu, which can be really helpful if your kids aren't adventurous eaters. The pizza is thick without tasting bready, and it's perfectly cooked every time. I shifted this list around from years past, mostly due to consistency, and Blue Pan is consistently good. Personally, I'm a big fan of the Brooklyn Bridge pizza, and I generally always recommend going with the Detroit style. I'm not a big prosciutto person, so the Parma Italia isn't for me, but otherwise you really can't go wrong with anything on the menu. And even though Blue Pan is known for doing Detroit style, Chicago Tavern style is having a moment right now, and the sausage and peppers pizza is a good way to switch things up. Now let's head out to Lakewood and a place that's primarily a takeout spot, Pizzeria Louie. In the past few years, Pizzeria Louie got so popular that they had to switch from wood-fired ovens to electric ovens just to keep up with demand, but the pizza has remained really good. If you've been going there for years, you know that it can get really busy even as a takeout spot. This is easily one of the most unassuming places on this list, but it's also one of the top rated pizzas anywhere in the Denver area. They do some unique and seasonal pizzas, but it's really the quality of ingredients that sets this place apart. Every now and then, you'll even see little shifts in the menu when the ingredients aren't tasting just right to the owner. Because this is similar to a Neapolitan style pizza, it's really best when you eat it right away, which can be tough when it's mostly a takeout spot, especially if you're driving from far away. Because of this, I've definitely eaten their pizzas in my car while sitting in the parking lot. And if you didn't realize that they switched ovens, that's good because the pizza still tastes really good and it travels a little better. If you're enjoying this video so far, please give it a like to help more people find good pizza in Denver, and add a comment with your favorite pizza spot. I make videos about places to eat and things to do in Denver, so hit that subscribe button because I'm making a lot of good stuff in 2025. Now back to the video. Now let's head down to the South Burbs and Centennial and Big Bill's New York Pizza. If you're into a simple Joe's Pizza-like New York style pizza, this is probably the closest you can get in the Denver area. This place is not fancy, it's more of a throwback sit-down pizza place with sports memorabilia on the walls and plastic cups. I usually just get a simple cheese pizza here and garlic knots, which works great for us and our kids. To be clear, this is not on the level of like a Lucali, Giuliana's, or Le Industrie in New York City right now, but there's just something about having some good New York style pizza in a laid-back setting. This feels like the kind of place you used to go after a baseball game or basketball game at the Boys and Girls Club, and that's part of the charm. It's very family friendly with a lot of food that even picky eaters will love. This place has had a lot of local fans in the burbs for decades, and it's not trying to be anything more than what it is. By the way, while you're there, check out Chow Cha. It's one of the best boba shops in the Denver area, and it's in the same strip mall. Now let's talk about a few places serving a style of pizza that Denver really does right, Neapolitan style. Along with New York style, this is one of my favorite types of pizza. And in Denver, we're talking about Cart Driver, Marco's Coal Fired, and newcomer Rosso Pomodoro. For this style of pizza, it's so much better when you dine in because the consistency of the pizza changes a lot when it goes from a 900-degree oven to a cardboard box sitting in your car. If you've gotten takeout or delivery from one of these places and been disappointed, I'd recommend dining in to have it taste the way it should. All 3 of these places are good and serve similar styles of pizza, so I'll just mention a few things that set them apart. Cart Driver has locations in Rhino and Lohi. The Lohi location has been closed for renovations for a while. Hopefully they make it back soon because that's a regular spot for us. Not only do they serve oysters and fancier appetizers and cocktails here, they also have some unique seasonal pizzas and some more modern twists on pizza like a clam pizza. If you're in a no alcohol era right now, they also have mocktails and a bunch of non-alcoholic drinks. If you're looking for a more traditional Neapolitan style, you can find that at Marco's Coal Fired. They have locations in DTC and Denver. This is the only pizza place you'll find in Colorado that's been certified by the Neapolitan Pizza Association. Marco's is a great place to dine in with family, and they have a huge oven that's very impressive. The pizzas are consistently good, have perfect char, and they've got a big menu whether you're looking for toppings that are more Naples or New York City. And they have gluten-free and vegan options too. I realize that Rosso Pomodoro is an international chain, but it's taking over where Pizzeria Locale left a very sad pizza-shaped hole in the Denver food scene. Founded in Naples, if this place sounds familiar, you might have been to one while traveling in Europe, or maybe you've stopped by one at an Eataly in the United States. They very interestingly chose Central Park for their first standalone location in the United States, and now there's another location in Greenwood Village. They took over 2 former Pizzeria Locale locations. The Greenwood Village space is pretty small, so if you want to dine in, which I'd recommend for this style of pizza, the Central Park location is really big. They use blazing hot ovens, fresh basil, and simple high-quality ingredients to make pizza as thin and delicious as you can find in the homeland. My wife and I stopped by Naples for part of our honeymoon, and even more than Don Michele in LA, this place makes pizza that tastes like the pizza that you can find walking around in Naples. Those were my personal favorites, but let's move the next tier down to get some more variety and still good pizza. Westward recently named White Pie, primarily a New Haven-style pizza place in Uptown, as the best place to get Sicilian-style pizza in Denver, and I definitely don't agree with that. Dough Counter has the best Sicilian-style pizza in Denver, and we'll talk about that next. Many years ago, I said that the White Pie at White Pie was one of the best pizzas anywhere in the city. I'm taking that back a little bit more these days because I think that the game has been raised. That being said, there are very few places to get that burny, asymmetrical, egg-shaped New Haven-style pizza in Denver, and White Pie has that. It has one of the cooler interiors of any pizza place on this list, and they have an outdoor patio that's great in the summertime. Plus, it's kind of fun to see the firewood everywhere throughout the restaurant. The oven gets up to 900 degrees here, so the pizzas cook fast, and it's a great place to dine in. If you go, I'd recommend getting a White Pie and one with red sauce like the traditional moots, and just see which one you prefer. Made by the same person behind Marco's Coal Fire, Dough Counter specializes in Sicilian-style pizza at their location on Colorado Boulevard, really close to Ling Long Dumpling House. The first time I stopped in, I actually talked to the owner, Mark, and he worked on this recipe for years to make sure it was just right. My personal favorite here is the hot honey pepperoni, which has those little pepperoni cups similar to what you'd find at a Prince Street Pizza in New York, just without the controversy. I do like the New York style here too, but I'd put Big Bill's in the next spot on this list above it for that kind of pizza. There is one pizza I haven't really loved there, which is the triple threat. It looks really cool, but that vodka sauce and pesto can be a little much after your first slice. If you're a fan of Sicilian style, or you want a pan pizza that isn't Detroit style, check them out next time you're out that way. I literally was editing this video and I forgot to include a newcomer that I wanted to be on this list. It's DTC Slice in Greenwood Village. They make really good New York and Detroit style pizzas using a very expensive 00 flour, and their dough ferments for 2 to 3 days. They have separate ovens for New York and Detroit style pizzas because they cook at different temperatures and they come out beautifully. They just opened up a few months ago, and a lot of people in the burbs are saying this is some of their favorite pizza in the Denver area. I'd highly recommend the Honey Sting pizza, and if you're a big fan of olive oil, you will like the pizza here. If you're not a big fan of olive oil, maybe ask them to go light, especially on the garlic knots. They use really high quality ingredients here, and they have this really cool machine that makes all the dough balls exactly the same. Parking is pretty easy. It's near Brian's Dumpling House if you know where that is. It gives Big Bill's a good run for its money for New York style pizza, and this is a great addition to the Denver pizza scene. There was a time when Redeemer Pizza might have been my favorite pizza in Denver. It had just opened, and their sourdough take on New York style pizza was uniquely good. And most of the time, it still is. And I think that's part of why Redeemer has fallen off a lot of pizza lists in the city recently, because the service and quality can be a little hit or miss. I usually get the Diavolo here, but the standard cheese is really solid. Kids pretty much always love it, and the garlic knots, when done right, are delicious. It's a place where you can get really good pizza by the slice for lunch in Rhino, and if you catch them on the right day, it could be your new favorite too. If you're looking for a crowd-pleasing place for a group that also serves good pizza, Hops and Pie and Red Tops Rendezvous are both good options. And huge caveat before you go, Red Tops Rendezvous is temporarily closed due to some crazy road construction, and I hope they open up again soon. Both of these places do solid Detroit-style pizza, but neither is on the level of Blue Pan. You will totally like both, but you're not gonna say that either is in the top 10 pizzas you've ever had in your life. When they're open, Red Tops Rendezvous can handle private parties, they have an upstairs patio, and it's just a very big open space. You'll be very shocked at how big it is inside. Hops and Pie on Tennyson usually gets crowded, but especially in the summertime with the outdoor patio, it just has an upbeat, lively vibe. You'll see a lot of families in there, and they have a ton of beers on tap, usually 30 plus. Both of these places have kids menus, and let's hope Red Tops Rendezvous makes it back because it's been a minute. And I mentioned Big Bills, but here's where you can find some hidden gems in the South Denver suburbs, and here's where you can find some of the best dumplings in and around the city. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you over there.